million people who aren't British citizens could have their say in the result. People from the 53 Commonwealth countries living here are eligible to cast a ballot in the referendum, even though they may only be here on temporary visas without British citizenship. Well, in the studio is Australian Brad Argent and New Zealander Kylie Taylor. They're here on visas and will be voting to remain on the 23rd of June. Also, Pasha Kandakar is of Bangladeshi origin, and while a British citizen now, he is arguing on behalf of Commonwealth voters to leave. And via Skype from Somerset is Canadian Gary Miller, who is voting as a Commonwealth citizen to leave. Thank you all for joining us. Well, with the result expected to be tight, every element of the voting is being scrutinised. There has been some disquiet at the fact that you all get a say, even though, with the exception of you, Pasha, you're not British citizens. Pasha, would you say, I know that you want to leave the EU, but would you say it's fair to claim that Commonwealth voters will be voting with one voice?
Well, it's fair because the Commonwealth has got a historical binding with this monarch, with this island. We get a historical contribution from the Commonwealth countries, which has always been undermined, undervalued, because of, again, I say because of the European Union. Because we want to develop someone very important. We never look at the Commonwealth. Commonwealth people has fought for this monarch, lived their life for this country, for the fight, liberations. My father, when he fought the Second World War, he was a Commonwealth citizen.
But in terms of claiming, I mean, that 40,000 people have signed a petition to Parliament arguing that allowing Commonwealth citizens to vote could bias the result. In terms of claiming that Commonwealth citizens will vote on as a bloc, one way or another.
Commonwealth citizens not living here.
The Commonwealth citizens living here.
Yeah, they got a right to vote. I think I believe it is okay.
And what do you think, Kylie?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we should be voting. You know, we live here, we pay taxes, we contribute to society. As Pasha has said, we have such a long-standing history with England, so I don't see any issue with
Why
that.
you've not exercised your right to vote previously, have you? You've been here for 6 years and you could have voted in any election since then, but you haven't. You want to vote in the referendum. Why is that?
I feel quite passionate about this. I believe that we should remain, and I think that, you know, for me, I just thought I'm going to register. You know, this is it. This is what's going to spur me to go through the process of registering so I can have my say.
Why do you feel so strongly?
I think that I firmly believe that, you know, we're all international citizens, for lack of a less cliched term, and I think England, and particularly London, is the best city in the world, and it is that way because of the rich tapestry of culture and customs that make it up, and I think leaving the EU would be a very sad thing.
Gary, you think we should leave. Why is that?
Well, we never can actually find out what's happening to the £18 billion that we pay in Brussels at the moment. I mean, I've lived here since 1985. I pay my taxes. I still work hard. And, you know, we never seem to be getting anything back. And, okay, I haven't made the decision to become a British citizen yet, but I've still got the right to live here, work here, and vote.
At the point, why do you feel more passionately about having a say in the referendum and the future direction of this country than actually becoming a British citizen?
Well, it's a piece of paperwork, isn't it, really? I mean, I'm from Canada. My heart is with Canada, even though I have lived here and worked probably the better part of my working life for some great companies here in the UK. And I just feel that, you know, some people are not actually seeing what is really happening. I feel that there should be some movement. The money that is going to Brussels, that we don't know how much we get back for, because their accounts never seem to be signed off. If that money was given to the 400-odd parishes and councils to help replenish housing stock and redevelop rural areas like where I live in Somerset, I mean, we need some serious funding. And with the funding being cut at the central government, if that budget money was still kicking around, it could help a lot of people.
Okay, I want to bring in Brad. Brad, you're Australian. You're here on a spousal visa.
Yes.
You're voting. Do you?
Yeah.
Defend your right to vote.
Look, you know, I pay taxes. One of the first things I did when I got to this country was register to vote. You know, both Kylie and I come from a country where it is compulsory to vote. It's compulsory to
Brits
participate.
can't vote in Australia.
No, they can't. And I think there's huge inequities in the Commonwealth system. One of the reasons why, and I've said this before, I'd like to vote leave out of spite, because even though I'm a member of the Commonwealth, I don't have the same rights as a citizen of the EU. And I think that needs to be addressed. But longer term, I think the longer term view, the thing that is in the best interest of my children and their children, is to remain.
Well, why do you think that?
Because I think what Europe brings to the UK is culture, is diversity, is a different way of thinking, a different way of being. And I think united, we can help shape Europe into the potential that it has. If we remain on the outside and all we do is bicker and moan about what they do in Europe, we'll be ineffective.
What do you all think about the campaign? Do you all feel that you've been able to make up your minds on the basis of solid facts? How much is it head and heart? I don't know if you heard Sarah Wollaston earlier, but she's defected. She's a Conservative MP, and she was saying that she doesn't feel people have actually had the chance to hear the clear facts from politicians.
What Sarah was saying, it sounds to me is like a stunt, political stunt. It just before a few days ago, we're going to do it.
Just in terms of whether you feel as a voter, you've actually been able to make up your mind on the basis of facts.
I've been affected by Europe. I've been badly affected by my life is badly affected by Europe. My housing is badly affected by Europe.
Why?
Where I live in Westmoreland, a small village in Kent, I've got 4 weeks backlog from my GP. There was a 3 GP surgery for the last 10 years. And we got nearly about 20,000 more people in this town. Still got 3 surgery. My question is, if you cannot accommodate all those influx immigrations, don't bring them. If you wanted to bring anybody, if you invite anybody to work here, accommodate them properly. Don't push my right. I want my right to be in housing. I want my kids' right to be in education, NHS, everywhere. But this is all clouded.
So immigration is the key factor for you?
Okay, I'm a president of Bangladesh Kid Associations. We run 12,000 curry houses in this country. We got millions of curry lovers, including them. I was talking to them.
Who doesn't love curry?
Yeah. And I want a handful of chefs, only 12,000 chefs, from work permit in this country, loving government for the last 11 years without any answer. But I've got thousands of people come from Europe, no problem. They have no skill, but they want me to employ them in my business. How can I employ them in my business when they have no skill?
So it's not about immigration as a whole, it's about the fact that European people living in Europe have more rights.
His country, Australian point-based system.
Let Brad come in.
Better. Yeah.
So it's an open border system, isn't it?
Hold on 2 seconds, Gary. We'll just hit
I like your point, and I think it's a very valid point. But I think voting to leave on that basis is like trying to crack a walnut with a sledgehammer. What we have is clearly a problem, and what we need is reform.
Right, it's a small island. We can't accommodate billions of people from anywhere. Our kids got a future. You said about the future of our kids. I think leaving Europe is the best for our kids.
Let me just let Brad come in. Gary come in. Gary, you were going to make a point.
Well, yeah, it's the open border system at the moment. You know, if we do leave the EU, I think you will find that we can then recontrol our own borders and recontrol who comes into the country. The Australian point system seems to work perfect for them, and I don't see why it couldn't be actually brought into the UK.
Quick final.
Yeah, no, I do agree with what you're saying, and it's immensely frustrating as a Commonwealth citizen to have such strict sanctions. But I don't believe leaving the EU is going to change that. And I think migration brings so much more benefit than it does that it detracts. From an economic perspective, the migrants contribute more to taxes and societal benefits than they take away. So, I don't believe leaving is the answer.
Thank you all very much. Thank you for your thoughts, and let us have your thoughts on that as well.